Hello, this is Aurora Ascension, and I am recording how to write a research paper, especially for engineering. And I am going to share my screen to show you my PowerPoint. Okay, in my PowerPoint, I've already reviewed part 1 and part 2. And part 1 was the setup for success when we're talking about grammar. And I reviewed grammar. Part 2 was essay writing, where I explained how to use Word documents, the writing process, that you have to plan how you're going to write before you start writing. I have a lot of people who say, well, I'm going to sit down and write. You don't. You can't sit down and write. You have to plan what you're going to write. And your paragraph organization, everything has an organization. Just think of it in that sense, and that's going to help you out. Here we have a PowerPoint that explains the usage of a topic sentence and the thesis generator, what a thesis statement is. And this is the most important part of your essay or your research paper, because this controls the whole paper. So you might have something that says, what are the consequences of eating fast foods? Well, I don't know. That's the last sentence in your introductory paragraph. So thereon, I'm going to explain what that is. Okay, so this is an example of different types of thesis statements. And the owl on the bottom also gives you more information. Parts of an essay. How do you establish an essay? How do you brainstorm and organize an essay? And like I said before, you can use a bubble map, or you can use an outline to organize your essay. And of course, the use of transitional words is very essential to your essay also. Here, and very important in today's part, is the American Psychological Association, APA. And it's funny because when I first started teaching, I studied this, and why does APA, the American Psychological Association, why do they give us the guidelines on writing? Well, remember that I've always told you that that you have to write with a reader-based attitude. So this is the important thing, that whatever you're writing, your reader should be able to read it and have it should have the correct grammar. It should have the organization that would help your reader understand what you're reading. And the American Psychological Association has guidelines to help you make it easier for your reader to understand your information. First of all, double space and using the lettering New Times Roman 12 font. Right now they have APA 7th edition, and they've changed, and they're using another sort of lettering also. I prefer New Times Roman. I think it's easier to read. Using an inch margin on all sides. You should have an APA title page. If you're going to write a professional paper, you always should have a title page. If you are writing a professional paper, you cannot write I, me, or my. Also, you write out the date using January 12, 2019, not 1/12/19, since this may be interpreted different in Europe and Latin American countries. You don't know if it's December 1st or January 12th. So write out the word January, okay? Now, very important, in APA, you cannot write your opinion. You can only paraphrase or put into your own words what the author is stating. This is very difficult for many people who are writing APA because, well, I know about this topic. I want to write what I feel about this. No, you can't. You have to write and summarize what the reader is saying. And I use the word paraphrase, which means putting in your own words. But there are three ways of doing this. You can either paraphrase, put it in your own words, summarize, which is probably 10% of the paper, and it's also putting in your own words. And the third part is synthesize. Like if you have bullet points, you might pick out a little bit of the information from a few bullet points and condense them all together in one word. So that's one sentence. So that's called synthesizing. If you're using an acronym, you have to write out the phrase, the whole phrase, and then write the acronym. For example, if you're saying Federal Bureau of Investigation is the FBI, if you write it out just like you see it here, Federal Bureau of Investigations, parenthesis FBI, from there on, anywhere on your essay or research paper, you can write FBI. And then very important, do not start a sentence with and, but, so. It sounds very elementary. It sounds condescending. So, like if you're trying to tell somebody, that you know more than they do. Use a thesaurus for an academic transitional word. And I also gave you a list of transitional words before in the past presentation. Do not use slang. Kids should be written as children. Try avoiding the use of slang, idioms, colloquialisms, los refranes. You cannot write, you have to be careful. Okay is not an academic word. And okay is not spelled O and K. It's spelled actually O-K-A-Y, but it's not to be used in APA writing. Do not start a sentence with a number. For example, if you start a sentence, 75% of students, you write 75% of the students in a word form, so you can avoid starting your sentence with a number. Numbers from 1 to 9 are expressed in words. However, from 10 onwards are expressed in numerals. If you are listing 3 numbers and you have the numbers 9, 20, 132, then all these may be written in numerals, since even though the 9, you should spell out the word 9, but in this case you're listing. So you have the listing of numbers, and one of them is out of form. So therefore, actually 2 of them are out of form and should be listed as numerals. So the numeral rule would apply here. And then I repeated myself, and then you do not use contractions. So you cannot use, for example, theirs is there is, there is they are. So be careful about the use of contractions. Your citation. Every body paragraph should have a citation. So for instance, if you're writing and paraphrasing and putting into your own words what the article states, you are going to have to use the author's last name and the year of the article. For example, global warming has affected society in many ways. And this Smith said it in the year 2018, and notice where I have the period outside of the parentheses here. So pay attention, this is one of the ways, and this is the most common way of putting the citation. I would suggest that you read one article and summarize it and use it for one paragraph, and put a citation each paragraph. You may have that you can't get too much information from one article, and you may have the an article that refutes what you're writing about, so you might want to put it in the same paragraph, and in that case you can say however, and you can say however, comma, many people claim that global warming does not exist, parenthesis, Jones, comma, 2019, parenthesis, period. And it might be in the same paragraph as this one, but you have to make sure that the area that you're summarizing, don't lose track of this, that you're summarizing one article, you're citing who said it, you're summarizing another article, and you're citing who said that. So if you're using the author's exact words, you must have quotation mark. Here you have a quotation marks, and then you have comma, and you have Smith, comma, 2019. This is a way that you could do this. Global warming has influenced the way the society recycles, uses fossil fuel, and searches for alternative energy methods. You can also, if you're using the author's exact words, you're using like this. But in this case, this is a quotation, and you can also use this. Okay, it's one or the other. You can either use the exact words or you can paraphrase. In this case, both of them are using the exact words. According to Smith, 2018. Now notice here I had the year in parentheses because I'm saying according to Smith, global warming has affected society in many ways. This is another way that you might be citing. When there are two authors, you use an ampersand, and then you use the year, or you might use Smith and Jones in a parenthesis at the end of your sentence or your paragraph. If you have more than one author, say more than two authors rather, you have a third author, you can say Smith et al. 2018. References cannot be Wikipedia, bloggers, encyclopedia, dictionaries. You may use a dictionary definition, but this is not counted towards being a viable source. Okay, your references, now that I said viable source. By references or sources, I'm referring to researching on the internet, websites or journals or books, in which books you can use in books or videos to support your theses and the presentation of your topic. These references must have an author or authors. In the case of having a very good website that does not have an author, that website should be reading .gov at the end, or it should be a website that's highly reliable. You've got to be careful. You always should have an author. You must have a current date, preferably less than 5 years old. I had a student who quoted President Clinton for something, and I said, we can't be using President Clinton. Where's your article? Show it to me. And when he showed it to me, it was an article from, oh gosh, 1990 something. And I said, no. This message is obsolete. There's new message. This is why less than 5 years old should be the best date that you can use for an article. Also, on the bottom of some articles, you'll see that it says updated, and it has an updated date to it. So you have to be very careful that you're using something that's current. Also, you have to make sure it's from a reliable source. No Wikipedia, dictionary, encyclopedia, or a biased source. So you have to make sure it's from a reliable source. Here you need to read these references and summarize them into your body paragraph. You may use the data provided by the author, but you cannot share any of your thoughts or opinions. You cannot have any of your opinions. Only paraphrase or put into your words what the article states. I've had an article that I use for class that has to deal with video games, and many people write a paragraph and say, parents should keep their kids from watching video games. Well, the article nowhere has that recommendation. So you can't put that in your paragraph because the article does not have that. You can't make up things. I know that that's a logical conclusion, but if it's a logical conclusion, use it for your last paragraph, your concluding paragraph, but don't use it in your body paragraphs. Also, when you're reading an article, the article that you're reading has a main idea, which is their thesis statement. So this will become your topic sentence. If the author claims that, like I mentioned before here, that global warming has affected society in many ways. Smith said that. Okay, fantastic. Guess what? Then that's my topic sentence, because in that paragraph, I'm going to write how global warming has affected society in many ways. Well, one way is, another way is, you know, I'm giving the different ways within the paragraph. In Google search, type articles on. This is my trick to make sure that I get when I'm searching, I get something that has an author, articles on, and then I insert one of the subtopics that I'm brainstorming on. For instance, here, global warming has affected society. Well, I would articles on ways that global warming has affected society. Article on recycling. Articles on the flora and fauna, the loss of flora and fauna because of global warming. So see, I'm trying to get the subtopics and articles on different subtopics so that way I can write out my paragraphs. Okay, so when you are writing, this is citations. Now, when you're writing your citations, you automatically must have a reference. Your references are going to be like this: Zimbardo, the year, the month, the title of the article goes in italics, the name of the company that's producing the article, and the website itself. Okay, and your references will be listed in alphabetical order. So this probably will be the last reference that you have if you have a listing of references, because they must be listed in alphabetical order according to the author's last name, or if you're using a government website, the name of the government website's last, the first initial here. Okay, so here we have the website. So since this is the website we're using, we go to Citation Machine. Citation Machine is a reference generator. Yep, can't open it. But if you look on, well, open. If you look online, here we go. And I made it that I would look for APA citations. So you can cite websites, you can cite a book, or you can cite a journal. What you do is you don't have to create an account. This is for free. If you're going to cite a website, you would have to copy paste the website and put it here. Let me see what I have. Oh, no, I just have my title here. But here you would put in the website and then you would search. Probably nothing will come out because I need to have an HTTP, a hyperlink. If nothing comes up, then you have to create a manual citation and fill out the form that it's asked for at the bottom when it opens up. Okay, the manual citation is going to ask for an author. It's going to ask for the people who are publishing the article, the title of the article, the date, and of course the website. If you're using a website, if you're using a book, it's going to ask you about the publisher, the city it was published in. It's going to ask more information. So here you have what's called a citation generator. Okay, And I'm going to show you a bit more about that in a little while with the next presentation I do. Here you have the book itself, the American Psychological Association, APA, 7th edition, like I said. And also, and I love this website. This website is Purdue OWL. Purdue OWL is a university that they're very well known for their trainings on research and writing. They're the best. Now here you have a PowerPoint on how you write. APA writing, and let me see if I have an example. I should have it over here. APA is one of 3 different modes of college writing. There's APA, there's Chicago style, there's MLA. In our case, we're using APA, and I would tell you that if you want to study a master's degree in the future, you should be using APA writing. Let me see. I'm looking for a sample paper that they have here. Here they tell you about in-text citation. They give you more information. It's just a matter of general writing. Just a matter of looking at each one of them and going through what they have. I think we are in general writing right now. But APA, these are the people that are the best in APA. Avoiding plagiarism, graduate writing. Let me see if I can find you a sample paper. Seventh edition format. There you go. It tells you about the font. It tells you about the title page. And this is the sample paper. Okay, this is a student sample paper. Notice that the spacing will always be double spaced. Before it used to have a title up here. You don't need that anymore. You do need a number on the side. You have to number your page on the heading. And here you have the title, which will be bolded. You have your name, the department, the college, and then here you have the course number, the course name, the professor's number, and the date. And of course, notice the date is the month is written out. If you have a professional paper, then you would have up here what's called a header. Right where your number goes, you have the title of the paper. That's if you're planning on publishing your paper. And you might have an author's note on the bottom. You might have what's called an abstract. And then your abstract is just a series of words, maybe 250, I think it is, or 300 words that give you the 250 words, that give you the gist, a summary of what your research paper is all about. So I would tell you first write your research paper, then go back and write your abstract. Now, just like you have with the hashtags, you're going to have your keywords here. So if anybody wants to read your paper, they have your keywords. Let me see if we can see a little bit further down. Okay. That will probably be all we can see right now. But if you notice, everything was double space. Oh, here we have a sample paper. Let me go through it real quick, just so I can show you some of their methods of okay, here we have a student's paper. This is what we're looking for. Okay, see, we have your title page. They're giving you explanations on the side. Here you have the title that's bolded. And notice here, might not be able to see it, but you have according to, parenthesis year, comma, and then a citation, direct citation in quotation marks. It has a page number behind it because it's a book. It's using an ellipse, those three little points you see there, because that means that that it's missing information here. They're missing words. So since they're omitting words, they're using that. Here you have another citation, like I showed you before. Parenthesis, author's last name, comma, year. Notice each paragraph is indented. One such measure, see, that's a transitional phrase. Again, they're using various authors in one paragraph. If you're still learning APA and you don't know how to master that well, be careful. Like I said, you have to make sure that when you're summarizing only with that author. I would suggest to keep to 2 authors per paragraph, maybe 3 if you really push it. Here you have 2 authors that they're giving reference to. And the paper itself, you can print it, you can take a look at it. And I will go a little bit deeper into writing a research paper with my next part of my presentation. That's citations, what I'm pointing out, that they've got that information from those authors. Okay, so that's the citation. I'm going to the end of the paper because I want to find the reference page. You have some figures here, you have some charts, you have some graphs. And I don't think they put the reference page here. Okay, your reference page should be at the end. And the people you cited, each one of them should be a reference on your paper. So I don't have the reference page here, but you must have the reference page. There we go. Like I mentioned it to you before. See, here you have the author's last name. You have the parenthesis year, the title of the book in this case, I think this is, yes, or journal. Okay, this is the title of the journal itself, the article, and the pages, the website, all listed in alphabetical order, A, B, according to author. So this is a student's. And here they omitted the rest of the references. They just wanted to show you a sample. Okay, so I will, in my next presentation, show you a little bit more on report writing per se. especially report writing having to do with engineering papers. Your capstones, your essays, when you're a professional engineer, that's so very important that you have the correct way of writing. So learn the correct way of writing. And I think we're done here. So next time, like I said, we'll go deeper into your topic. So we already started building up on it, and we'll talk a little bit more later. Have a good one. Bye.